What happens when a Hollywood A-lister walks onto a live daytime talk show expecting a routine interview, and instead ends up in one of the most uncomfortable, tense exchanges the audience has seen in years? Make sure to subscribe to Final Take Files, and like and comment for more talk show coverage. The camera opens on a wide shot of the table. The hosts are mid-conversation, light laughter fading as the segment transitions. Whoopee. All right, we're back. Our next guest is someone you all know, Academy Award winner, director, activist. JOY, and apparently still the internet's favorite silver fox. Audience laughs and claps. Whoopee. George Clooney is here with us today. Applause grows louder as George walks out, waving, smiling, shaking hands with the hosts. He sits down, relaxed. George, that's a very generous welcome. Thank you. Whoopee, you've earned it. Sunny, absolutely. JOY, you look rested. That's suspicious. George, that's because I slept on the plane, Joy. That's the secret. Light laughter. The tone is easy, friendly. Whoopee, so, you've got a new project out, you've been busy as always. But before we get into that, people have been talking a lot about your comments recently, about media, politics, and, well, how divided things have gotten. George, yeah. I mean, it's hard not to notice it, right? Sunny, it's more than noticeable, it's dangerous. George, sure, I'd agree with that. Whoopee, so what do you think is fueling it? George, honestly, I think part of it is that people don't talk to each other anymore. They talk at each other. Sunny, or they're not being heard. That's the issue. George, that can be part of it, yeah. Sunny, no, I think it's a big part of it. A slight shift. The tone tightens just a little. JOY, oh, here we go. Audience chuckles lightly. Whoopee, no, this is good. This is conversation. George, I'm not disagreeing. I just think it goes both ways. Sunny, but does it really? Because historically, some voices haven't had the same platform. George, that's true. Absolutely true. Sunny, so when you say, both sides, sometimes that sounds like minimizing that imbalance. George, I get why it could sound that way, but that's not what I mean. A brief pause. Audience quiets slightly. Whoopee, clarify it for us. George, what I mean is, we've reached a point where people assume bad intent immediately. No one gives anyone the benefit of the doubt anymore. Sunny, or maybe they've seen enough to not give that benefit anymore. George, maybe. But that also shuts down conversation before it starts. Sunny, but some conversations aren't productive if one side refuses to acknowledge reality. Audience gives a mix of murmurs and scattered applause. JOY, okay, we're getting spicy early. George, I'm all for acknowledging reality. I just think sometimes we decide what the other person believes before they even speak. Sunny, but that comes from patterns. It's not random. George, sure, but if you assume the worst, you're going to get the worst. Sunny, or you're responding to what's already been shown repeatedly. A longer pause now. The energy has shifted. Even the audience seems more attentive. Whoopee, all right, let's slow it down just a bit. George, no, this is fine. I like this. Sunny, so do I. JOY, of course you do. Audience laughs nervously. Whoopee, let's bring it back for a second. George, you've been outspoken for years. Do you feel like celebrities should be involved in these conversations? George, I think everyone should be involved. Celebrity or not. Sunny, but celebrities have influence. That comes with responsibility. George, I agree. Sunny, so when you say things like, both sides, that influence matters. George, I understand that. But I also think simplifying everything into one perspective doesn't help either. Sunny, it's not simplifying, it's recognizing power dynamics. George, and I respect that. I really do. Sunny, but... George, but I also think... Both start speaking at the same time, then stop. George, go ahead. Sunny, no, you go ahead. George, no, please. Sunny, okay. Audience chuckles at the polite standoff, but tension remains. Sunny, I just think that sometimes when people in positions like yours talk about both sides, it unintentionally creates a false equivalence. George, I hear that. But I think what's dangerous is when we stop allowing nuance entirely. Sunny, nuance is important, but so is accountability. George, agreed. Sunny, so where's the line? George, the line is being able to disagree without immediately assuming someone is acting in bad faith. Sunny, but what if they are? Audience reacts, some oohs, some claps. JOY, okay, that landed. George, then you call it out. But you don't start there every time. Sunny, I don't think people start there. I think they get there based on experience. George, that's fair. But if you stay there, nothing moves forward. Whoopee, that's a point. Sunny, or maybe moving forward requires calling things out directly. George, absolutely. But there's a difference between calling something out and shutting someone down before they even speak. Sunny, I don't shut people down. George, I didn't say you specifically. Sunny, it sounded like you did. George, no, I'm speaking generally. The tension sharpens. The audience is quiet now, fully engaged. JOY, this is the part where Twitter starts typing. Audience laughs, breaking the tension for a moment. Whoopee, let's keep it grounded. This is a conversation, not a battlefield. George, I'm good. Sunny, so am I. Whoopee, good. Then let's keep going. George, look, I think we actually agree on more than we disagree. Sunny, maybe. But I think where we differ is how we approach those disagreements. George, that's probably true. Sunny, because for me, it's not just about conversation, it's about truth. George, and for me, it's about making sure the conversation actually happens. Sunny, even if it legitimizes harmful perspectives? George, talking to someone doesn't legitimize them, it challenges them. Sunny, not always. George, more often than silence does. Audience murmurs again, split reactions. JOY, okay, now we're in it. Whoopee, and we're just getting started. The camera zooms slightly closer as the energy at the table shifts from polite disagreement into something more serious, more personal. Sunny, I just think it's easy to say that when you're not the one affected by certain outcomes. Audience reacts, some applause, some murmurs. George, that's a strong assumption. Sunny, is it? George, yeah, it is. A beat. The tension spikes for the first time. Whoopee, all right. But neither of them speaks immediately, and for a second, the silence says more than anything else could. The audience is completely still now. And you can feel it. This conversation just crossed into something much deeper than anyone expected. George, that's a strong assumption. Sunny, is it? George, yeah, it is. A quiet pause settles over the table. The energy has clearly shifted. This isn't just a casual debate anymore. Whoopee, all right, let's. George, no, it's okay. I want to understand what you mean. Sunny, what I mean is, when people talk about keeping conversations open at all costs, sometimes they're not the ones dealing with the consequences of those conversations turning into real-world harm. George, you're assuming I don't think about that. Sunny, I'm saying it's different when it affects you directly. George, it affects all of us. Sunny, not equally. Audience reacts, some applause, some murmurs of agreement. JOY, okay, we skipped right past small talk. Whoopee joy. JOY, I'm just saying, this is real now. George, I'm not saying it's equal. I'm saying shutting down dialogue doesn't fix it. Sunny, and I'm saying not all dialogue is worth having. George, but how do you decide that before it even happens? Sunny, based on patterns. Based on history. Based on what people have shown you. George, but people can change. Sunny, systems don't. Audience reacts again, louder this time. Whoopee, that's a big point. George, sure, but we're talking about individuals having conversations. Sunny, and those individuals are part of those systems. George, so what's the solution? Not talking. Sunny, no. Being honest about what you're engaging with. George, I am being honest. Sunny, then acknowledge not every perspective deserves equal space. George, I never said they did. Sunny, both sides suggests that. George, no, it suggests people should be able to speak and be challenged. Sunny, platform matters. George, and so does engagement. Sunny, engagement without accountability is just noise. Audience claps, a few louder cheers. JOY, I feel like I should be taking notes. Whoopi, you should be moderating. JOY, I am moderating, with commentary. Audience laughs briefly, tension easing for a moment. George, look, I agree accountability matters. I'm not arguing against that. Sunny, then where's the line? George, when someone is actively causing harm, that's the line. Sunny, but harm isn't always obvious at first. George, that's true. Sunny, so waiting until it's obvious can be too late. George, but assuming it before it happens can shut out people who might actually listen. Sunny, or protect people who've already shown they won't. Audience gives a louder, ooh. The exchange is getting sharper. Whoopi, let's not talk over each other. George, I'm not trying to. Sunny, neither am I. Whoopi, I know. Just keep it clean. George, I'm good. Sunny, same. A small reset, but the tension lingers. Whoopi, George, does being in the public eye shape how you approach this? George, of course. People decide who you are without ever talking to you. Sunny, that happens to people without your platform too. George, I know that. Sunny, but they don't get the same chance to respond. George, that's fair. Sunny, so when you say, hear everyone out, it lands differently depending on who hears it. George, I understand that. Sunny, do you adjust for that? George, I try to. Sunny, try, or do. George, pauses, I do my best. Sunny, that's not really an answer. George, it's the honest one. Audience murmurs, split reactions again. JOY, honesty is dangerous here today. Whoopi, apparently. Sunny, I just think words matter, especially when millions are listening. George, and I think assuming the worst interpretation of those words is just as dangerous. Sunny, sometimes that worst interpretation comes from lived experience. George, and sometimes it comes from expecting conflict before it starts. Sunny, or recognizing it when it's already there. George, if you go in expecting conflict, you'll find it. Sunny, if you ignore it, it doesn't go away. Audience reacts again, louder, clearly divided. Whoopi, this is one of those conversations people are having at home right now. George, exactly. Sunny, and for some people, those conversations aren't safe. George, I understand that. Sunny, do you? George, yes. Sunny, because it doesn't sound like it. Audible reaction from the audience, some gasps, some applause. JOY, and there it is. Whoopi, Sunny. Sunny, I'm being honest. George, and so am I. George leans forward slightly now, more direct but still controlled. George, but honesty goes both ways. Sunny, I agree. George, then be honest. Do you think shutting people out ever makes things worse? Sunny, yes. George, okay. So we agree on that. Sunny, but that's not what I'm advocating. George, it can lead there. Sunny, not if it's done thoughtfully. George, who decides what's thoughtful? Sunny, people who understand the impact. George, and if someone disagrees? Sunny, then they need to listen more. George, or be part of the conversation. Sunny, listening is part of it. George, so is speaking. Sunny, not if what's being said is harmful. George, then challenge it. Sunny, people do. George, and that's good. Sunny, but you're asking for more space for it. George, I'm asking for engagement, not endorsement. Sunny, engagement can amplify it. George, silence can let it grow. Audience murmurs again, split reactions across the room. Joy, this is like a live debate special. Whoopee, without the podiums. Audience laughs lightly. Sunny, I think this comes down to perspective. George, I agree. Sunny, your perspective assumes dialogue is safe enough to have broadly. George, that's not always true. Sunny, but often enough for you to promote it. George, and your perspective is about protecting people. Sunny, yes. George, and I respect that. Sunny, then respect that sometimes that means limiting certain conversations. George, and respect that limiting them can backfire. A brief silence. They hold eye contact again. Whoopee, all right. She leans forward, stepping in more firmly now. Whoopee, let's take a breath. Joy, yes, please. Audience chuckles softly. Whoopee, this is important, but it's intense. George, I'm fine. Sunny, me too. Whoopee, I know you are. That's why we're still here. A small smile, but the seriousness remains. Whoopee, I think what people are hearing is two different ways of trying to get to the same place. George, that's fair. Sunny, I agree with that. Whoopee, the difference is how you get there. George, exactly. Sunny, and what you're willing to accept along the way. Audience reacts more thoughtfully now. Whoopee, and that's where it gets complicated. Joy, understatement of the day. Audience laughs lightly. Whoopee, all right, we're gonna take a quick break. Applause, but still charged. Whoopee, when we come back, we're continuing this. Joy, because we're definitely not done. Whoopee, not even close. The camera pulls back slightly. George leans back, exhaling. Sunny adjusts in her chair, still focused. Even as the show heads to break, it's clear. This conversation isn't cooling off anytime soon. The show comes back from commercial. The energy is noticeably tighter. The audience claps, but it's more restrained now, like everyone knows what they're walking back into. Whoopee, all right, we're back. And we're continuing this conversation. Joy, yes we are. Audience gives a few knowing laughs. Whoopee, George, Sunny, we left off in a pretty intense place. George, yeah. Sunny, we did. Whoopee, let's try to move it forward. George, fair. Sunny, okay. A brief pause, but neither backs off. Whoopee, George, I want to ask you directly. Do you think there are times when giving someone a platform actually does more harm than good? George, yes. Absolutely. Sunny nods slightly, like she agrees, but waits. George, but I think the mistake is assuming that every conversation equals a platform. Sunny, it often does though. Especially when millions are watching. George, but this, right now, is a conversation. Sunny, and it's being broadcast to millions. Audience reacts quietly. George, so what's the alternative? Only having conversations everyone already agrees with? Sunny, no. But being selective about what gets amplified. George, who makes that call? Sunny, people who understand the stakes. George, that's subjective. Sunny, so is deciding to engage with everything. A quick back-and-forth rhythm returns, but more controlled now. Joy, this is like round 2, but quieter. Whoopee, it's not quieter, it's sharper. Audience murmurs in agreement. George, let me ask you something. Sunny, okay. George, do you think there's a risk that shutting down certain conversations pushes people further into their corners? Sunny, yes. But I think the bigger risk is pretending all conversations are equal when they're not. George, I don't think they're equal. Sunny, then we agree on that. George, we do. A small pause. This is the first moment of real overlap. Whoopee, there we go. Joy, progress. Audience gives a light clap. Sunny, I just think intent isn't enough. Impact matters more. George, I agree with that. Sunny looks slightly surprised, but not in a dramatic way, just a shift. Sunny, okay. George, but I think impact can also come from refusing to engage. Sunny, that's true. George, so it's a balance. Sunny, it is. A brief silence. The tension softens just a little, not gone, but less sharp. Whoopee, that's the conversation right there. Joy, took us a while, but we got a sentence we all like. Audience laughs lightly. Sunny, I don't think we're as far apart as it sounded. George, I don't think so either. Audience claps, relieved, but still attentive. Whoopee, all right, now we're getting somewhere. But even with that moment of agreement, you can still feel it. The disagreement isn't gone. It's just settled for now. Whoopee, all right. I think that's a good place to land this. Joy, before we start round 3. Audience laughs, a little louder now, some of the tension finally breaking. Sunny, I think we made some progress. George, I think so too. Whoopee, and that's the point. You don't have to agree on everything, but you have to be willing to sit here and actually talk it through. Audience applauds, more unified this time. Joy, and nobody flipped the table, so that's a win. George, give it time. Audience laughs again. Sunny, I still stand by what I said. George, and I stand by what I said. Sunny, but I hear you. George, same. A small nod between them, respectful, but not overly friendly. Just real. Whoopee, that's what people need to see more of. Audience claps again. Whoopee, George, thank you for being here, and for staying in the conversation. George, thanks for having me. Sunny, thank you. Joy, come back any time, preferably when I have snacks ready. Audience laughs as the segment starts wrapping. Whoopee, we'll be right back. The music plays, the camera pulls out, and the hosts lean in slightly toward each other as the show fades to the next segment. And just like that, the moment didn't end when the cameras cut. Clips of the exchange started circulating within minutes. Viewers were split, some siding with Sunny, praising her for standing firm, others backing George, saying he pushed back in a way people don't usually see on daytime TV. Social media lit up with reactions, debates, and breakdowns of every line, every pause, every moment of tension. Some called it one of the most honest conversations the show has had in years. Others said it was uncomfortable, but necessary. Behind the scenes, sources said the conversation continued briefly off camera, but in a much calmer tone. No shouting, no drama, just a quieter version of what viewers saw live. And by the time the episode aired across different time zones, it had already become one of the most talked about segments of the day. Now it's your turn. What did you think about that exchange? Did George make a strong point, or was Sunny right to push back the way she did? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Final Take Files for more real talk show stories.